Okay guys, are you ready to make the best ever cinnamon buns? I'm just going to quickly go over the ingredients that we have here. And if you've watched any of my other recipes, I always double my recipes, so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. But I learned this recipe from Tatiana's Everyday Food on YouTube, so I'll put her link down below and her measurements. It just cut in half the ingredients that I'm telling you today, but she does it with just one helping. I'm doing two, of course. Big family, I need big recipes. So for the dough, we'll just do the dough right now. I'm using 2 cups of milk, which is, oh, I forgot it's over in the microwave warming up. I thought I had it all set up. Okay, 2 cups of milk. I'm using whole milk. 5 teaspoons of yeast. 4 eggs. 2/3 cup of melted butter. I'm going to have 2 teaspoons of salt. And 7 cups of all-purpose flour. She uses bread flour, but I don't have bread flour, so I'm using all-purpose flour. I've made these several times, and they always turn out perfect. They really do. They're absolutely delicious. And yeah, that's pretty much all we need. So for the dough, I'm gonna get my stand mixer set up. You can do this all by hand. My wrists and hands are really bothering me today. I made 4 loaves of bread this morning. And if you watch my vlog yesterday, I did a lot of veggie prep and everything, so I'm really paying for it today. So I'm gonna incorporate Cornelius into this. That's the name of my KitchenAid mixer. My sister named him, and it kind of stuck, so Cornelius is my assistant today. So just give me a second and I'll get him ready to go. Alright guys, we're going to start this off. And like I said, you can do this all by hand. I've done it by hand. I don't think I've ever used the KitchenAid, but I'm going to make them work for it today. So I'm going to add the 2 cups of milk. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. This is kind of, it acts like as the food for the yeast. 1 cup of sugar. 5 teaspoons of, I'm using instant yeast. If you don't have instant yeast and are using active dry yeast or something like that, you're going to have to let this sit for 5 or 10 minutes just to proof. I'm using the instant stuff, and I don't have to do that. So, let me see here. And I'm going to lift my bowl up and just give this just a little stir, just to incorporate it. Okay. Sprinkle yeast. Now we need to whisk in the eggs. I should have cracked these before turning the camera on, but it'll give me a chance to talk. This past Christmas, oh geez, I have 6 children if you don't know. 4 girls and 2 boys. And anyways, with all my little ones this Christmas, I had a special little baking exercise with each of them Christmas Eve. So one of my girls wanted to make cinnamon buns. And that's what we did. She had a blast doing it. And this is a recipe. I'm getting eggshell into my eggs. I'm just taking out the little pieces. My hands are clean, guys. But she had a blast. And of course, they all got to highlight what they made. One of my other girls made chocolate covered pretzels with you know, crushed candy canes on it. Yeah, it was a good time. My other 2 little ones, my Mr. Mays and, oh, for goodness sakes, try to get the shell out. That's all I need is a crunch. She made gingerbread men and decorated them. Which was great. All right, I'm making a right old mess with this. But there you go. 4 eggs. Let's turn this on again. Let me rinse my fingers off. Slowly add in, whisk in the eggs, butter, and salt. I need to do the butter and the salt. Now, like I said, I've done this recipe several times, but I still need to look at the recipe. If it's my white bread, I don't even need to look at my book. But let's do the salt. I added the butter. And 2 teaspoons, so I know I should just a little bit. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to add the flour a little bit at a time. So, but if we're going to do that, I'm going to get my dough hook in here. There's a little bit left in my bowl, but I'm going to put that on my work surface because in a little bit we're going to put this out and knead it a little bit. Okay, I stopped the mixer because, yeah, I find that's the thing with these stand mixers. I have a hard time waiting for the dough to come together, and I don't want to overdo it. If you have a KitchenAid mixer, is there dough, like, do you have to let it go for a long time before a dough comes together? I'm really not sure. So if you know, please comment down below and let me know. All right, I scraped out the bowl with a metal spoon because I find it's always a sticky dough. Yeah, so I put it on here. I went and got another cup of flour because I know I'm going to need it. And I'm going to need it. Silly. Anyways, you know how to knead dough, or maybe you don't. But you just kind of use the palm of your hand, fold it over, use the palm, fold it over. It feels really good. Make sure your hands are super clean though, guys. I don't generally wear jewelry. I wear a thumb ring on this thumb, but I always take it off. And this isn't hard to do. It's just, I've done a lot of kneading and chopping and peeling and stuff the past couple of days, so I got Cornelius to do the bulk of it for me. He's a good guy. No, I just got this stand mixer for Christmas. Totally surprised me. I always wanted one, but you know they cost a fortune. And we're pretty frugal. We could have got it, but we got a big family. And anyways, what a nice surprise is all I can say. This morning when I made bread, the 4 loaves of bread, I did the same thing. I used the stand mixer for part of it. I know I made a video on 4 loaves of bread. I'll put that link below. And when I did that, I didn't use my stand mixer. But today I did. And I didn't need it the whole time because just like I was saying, the dough doesn't really come together, I don't find. And I still, with breads, I like to take it out and touch it with my hands to see how it feels. You can't tell by how it looks. So this, you don't have to knead it a super long time. Just so it's kind of a heavy dough. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get a bowl and grease it, and I'll bring you back. Okay, I just put about a teaspoon, a tablespoon, something like that, of olive oil in this bowl. And I just kind of spin it around so it gets all over the bottom. So it's on the bottom of the bowl and it's on here. We don't want this dough to dry out. That's what the purpose of it is. And it won't stick to the bowl either. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick this in the oven. The oven's not on. I just have the oven light on. I'm going to cover it with a clean tea towel. Put it in the oven with the oven light. And you have to let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour. I usually do an hour just to be safe. So while that's rising, we'll make the goodie stuff that goes inside the cinnamon buns. Alright, I got the stuff together. It's really simple. I put 2 whole cups of brown sugar in here. Well, it's brilliant yellow sugar. I didn't have brown sugar, but that's what I'm using. Use what you got. And then for me, I'm using 5 tablespoons of cinnamon. Sounds like a lot, but we like our cinnamon. 5. And then it calls for a teaspoon of nutmeg. Oh, my children. Jeepers creepers, they're making a racket. So, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. And it also calls for 2/3 cup of soft butter, but I'm going to break that out when we have the dough all out. And that's ready to rock and roll. Smells really good. Alright guys, the buzzer just went off. So we'll take the dough out of the oven and we'll see what it looks like. I brought you guys over to the table now. I need to flip my camera around to make sure that it's, I can see what I'm filming. Now I'm paranoid. Yeah, you can see, I guess. I'm just going to be chit-chatting while I do this. So we'll take this off, and you can see how much it's risen. It's come up quite a bit. I put some gloves on just because I'm going to be using my hands. I find it's easier to use my hands than spoons and all that stuff to do that kind of stuff. And you just punch it down a bit. Smells really good already. My girls just went outside to play. I made them put their snow pants on because we still have quite a bit of snow out there. But it's a beautiful day out. I think it's like +1, which is, we haven't had that for a little while. Get rid of that. So you just kind of use your hands to put it into a square or rectangle. Because I'm going to use my rolling pin here in a minute. I just learned to make bread and all this kind of stuff because I make my own bread and I have for about 2 years now. But for the longest time, I didn't know how to do that stuff. It really intimidated me. And now that I know how to do it, I don't know why it was so scary, but it was. But I encourage everybody out there to try it because your family would love it. So I'm not pushing hard. My rolling pin's marble or granite or whatever it is. It's super heavy. It would certainly knock somebody out if an intruder came in. So I let this butter sit out. This butter sit out for all afternoon. It's really soft, really soft. So I'm just going to break it up with my fingers. I find it's easier to do it that way. And spread it all over. I think her recipe said a 1/3 cup, but I just use what I need to use. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Don't ask me why. That's just the way it goes for me. Yeah, spreading it on. No, it's a beautiful day outside. Where I live, it's a small little village. The town is about 10-15 minutes away, but even that town is relatively small. But I love where I live. And I'm really getting that itch to start planting summer and spring planting. I have to be honest, I'm not the biggest gardener. My partner in crime is. I'm more of the harvester. I like to can as much stuff as I can. You know, vegetables wise, pickles, corn, peas, beans, tomatoes. Whatever I can, I'll can. But it'll officially be spring. We still got quite a bit of snow on the ground, but April's right around the corner. And I was always told April showers bring May flowers. So, it's coming. It's funny, my mom used to, her and her good friend Velva used to go mayflowering. So in the spring they'd drive around the community, and wherever they saw mayflowers in ditches or sometimes on other people's lawns, they'd jump out of the car and go pick mayflowers. They're wildflowers here. I don't know much about them, to be honest. If they're all over the world or just native to here, I don't know. Let me know if you guys know. Here's our sugar and nutmeg mixture. All I can smell is cinnamon. So I find it's easier just to do it with my hands. It's what really makes cinnamon rolls off the hook. You know what I'm saying? This, and we're going to make a cream cheese frosting for some of I'm not going to put it on all of the cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns, because my oldest son doesn't care for cream cheese frosting. So I'll leave some of them just plain, but in reality they're not plain. Oh, one of my girls is coming in. She probably has to go pee after she got her snowsuit on. Just hold on a second, folks. It's like spreading tomato sauce on a pizza. You want it all over, or at least I do. I remember as a child, my mother's mother, Grammy, my children called her Gigi. Anyway, she used to make homemade cinnamon buns a lot. So it reminds me of childhood. I don't make these all the time because it takes a little while, and I do a lot of staple baking, like my breads and well, waffles isn't baking, but you know, I make a lot of things on a regular basis, cookies and stuff for school lunches. So these are a nice sweet treat. Okay, before I get on a rambling spree, I'm just going to pick up the edge here and start rolling it over. I'm not perfect at this, but nobody ever notices if it's uneven. They might fight over the smallest one, but matter of fact, my girls fight over the smallest one. They think it's the baby one, and they all want the little one, so I'm not worried about it. They are going to be nice and thick. But who doesn't like a few curves and thickness in their life, if you know what I'm saying? A little more junk in the trunk. This reminds me of a big snake, which my oldest daughter, has a beautiful snake called No Feet. Okay. Now, I've done this with dental floss like Tatiana does in her video. I don't have any. So if you don't have any, it's okay, but I'm not going to waste the time to explain. You can check out her video, or if I ever make these again during a day. I won't do another tutorial unless this one is a complete flop, but I'll just patch in and show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do. These are just little rinky-dink pans. Sometimes I reuse these, and I know I don't really like using disposable things, but I only have one glass jar lasagna pan, and I picked my battles, folks. Now this dough is soft. You've seen it. I usually start in the middle, and this table has been taking a beating. It's Mabel the table. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not trying to dig into the table, but it has a few marks. That's okay. It's like laugh lines. It's seen a lot of love. I've already sprayed these pans with just some vegetable oil, cooking spray. So we're just going to do what we do. Oh, well, you'll see. I'm going to get these all cut up, and I'll be back. Okay, I got them in the pans. I just want to show you, I scraped up the sugar and stuff that excuse me, was left on the table, and I guarantee you I clean this table thoroughly. I do. I take that stuff seriously. Almost too much, but I scoop it up in my hands, and waste not, want not. I just go around and sprinkle it on top of ones that might look like they need a little bit more. Not that they don't. Like, this is a funny looking one right there. It's like the smallest one that's shaped kind of funny. No joke. The kids will fight over whoever gets that. Not the biggest one, which is this one right here. They'll want the funny little oddball runt. But hey, I'm always rooting for the underdog too. So there. Now I'm going to put these back in the oven. And again, the light is still on. I'll cover them with 2 tea towels now until they rise. About 45 minutes to an hour. And then we start this train chugging, if you know what I'm saying. And yeah, I'll bring you back when it's time to get the motor running. All right, it's preheated. Okay, let's put these in. Whew, that's hot. And I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. She says 7 to 10 minutes. I do it for 10 minutes. And then we'll take it out and do a little trick to it, and then we'll stick it back in. Okay, guys, the oven just went off. I'm about to take it out. I had to move you back over to the counter because it's past supper time and I'm using the stovetop to cook. We're having kind of a leftover meal, but I need to heat some stuff up on the burners. Okay, so it's only been 10 minutes. And what we're going to do now, you can see it's starting to cook already. What we're going to do, we're going to put a little bit of whipping cream. I have to turn this around. I can't see if you guys can see that or not. Yeah, whipping cream on top. About 2 tablespoons for each. I know you're thinking, really? Yeah. It makes it nice and ooey and gooey. I gotta be careful not to use it all in one pan. But believe me, folks, this makes it nice and moist and ooey and gooey. It still bakes all the way through. Let me come over on this side. Oh, they smell so good. I'm telling you, all the kids want some, but my 8-year-old, Mally, aka Mayhem, thinks she's having these for supper. I said, no, you need to have supper first, but she's just itching to have these bad boys. And this whipping cream will soak down in. It's not going to be sitting on top like it shows right now. Looks kind of soupy and stuff. It's going to soak down in, and it makes it so good. I had no idea. So yeah, it's a little extra step. You know, I've only ever seen this in one other recipe. It makes a world of difference. I'm not even joking. So good. So I'm going to put these back in the oven. It says until it's about golden brown. I find it's around 20 minutes. So I'm going to set it for 10 minutes and check it, and I'll put it back in for a little bit longer. But you can see the differences in the sizes. This is a huge one. I'm dying for that one, but that's that little one that we thought that the kids would fight over. It's pretty big. Here's a little one that got squished between these two ones. So they're like people. Everybody's different. But we're all unique. And we're all cherished and precious. So it's all good. I'm going to stick these back in the oven. And I'll let you know how long it takes to get where they're supposed to be when it's all done and over with. And we'll put the cream cheese frosting on in a minute. But while these are baking for the next few minutes, we'll make the frosting. So just hold on a second. Okay guys, I'm about to take those pans out of the oven. smell really good. Ooh, totally puffed up. I can't imagine. I recommend doing a double recipe, even if you have a small family, because you're going to have one and you're going to want to have more than one, I can tell you that. You'll have one at the middle of the night if you have a craving. You can have one for breakfast, whatever. So, anyways, let me get the frosting over here and we'll frost these bad boys. Okay, I'm doing this quick, and I kind of wing this because the measurements are in ounces and stuff, and that's not how we do it here in Canada. So, she calls for 4 ounces of soft cream cheese. And this might be what I'm using, but I should have been a little more prepared and checked, but I can't remember. I'm using a thing of Philadelphia cream cheese. And it really goes according to your taste, really. Just in my experience in regards to cakes or any kind of frosting, it goes according to your taste. She calls for a 1/4 cup of soft butter. But again, we're doubling this, so. And I personally don't like a whole bunch of icing on. I like a little bit. Not a whole bunch, because I like the actual bun more than anything else with the cinnamon sugar. But, yeah, we'll use that. And then we use 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to double that. And when it comes to vanilla, I'm not, well, I'll do this. I don't care if I'm a little bit over. I really don't. That was about 2.5 capfuls. And then it says her 1.5 cups of icing sugar. Let's grab that. And then it calls for 2 to 4 tablespoons of half and half. And I don't have that, so I can either use a bit of canned milk, but I don't want to use a whole thing of canned milk. So I'm just going to use my whole milk. If there is any left over tonight, you're supposed to cover and refrigerate them. I'm just thinking I'm not seeing the vanilla, but it's just being mixed up in. Can you see that? Yeah, it's coming together. Let's see. My oldest daughter said she's got me an iPod, or a tripod, sorry. I just need to bring her over a few cinnamon buns. A tripod that actually works properly, so hopefully my future videos will be a little more stable. Alright, I'm going to taste this before I put the attachment, the whisking attachment. Oh, where's the little spoon? I have you guys stationed right in front of my silverware drawer. Oh, that's good. That's really good. I'm just going to add a smidge more. Oh, I was just about to add this icing, but I realized I forgot to add a little bit of milk. And I'm just going to, it calls for 2 to 4 tablespoons. So I'm just going to use a little bit of milk. And like I said, this icing is going to fall down. Seep down. I will use my hands for this because I'm tired of running back and forth. I don't know if it just keeps it a little runnier. I'm not sure. Really. And as she says, like it depends on how much icing sugar and stuff that you add, how thick you want it to be. I like it a little runny, not super runny. But it's, I don't know, I guess you'd call it like thick yogurt maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that it would, you know, be similar to. Let me try to zoom you in. to the cinnamon rolls now. And we're going to ice these and let them sit for a little bit. They're going to be hot for a while. Just because they just came out of the oven. They really just came out of the oven. I had this all ready to rock and roll. Realized about the milk. Now right now it looks like it's sitting on top. And that's okay. Even if it's on top, it's going to taste good. But it will, bits of it will soak down in. It really will. And I'll attach a picture of what it looks like after we add the icing sugar. Ooh, it looks fancy now. It really does. So, tell me, is this something that you use as a dessert or a breakfast or what? Or is it a guilty pleasure? You drive up to Tim Hortons or what is it in the States? Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know if they have cinnamon buns there or not. Is this something that you would order? And just for the new people out there, I know I've mentioned it in other videos, if there's something out there you'd like to see me try to make or bake, hit me up in the comments and let me know. And I'll do it homemade style because that's what I do. This is my comfort zone. This is where I'm working. Okay, I'm going to dish one out because I have people, oh my goodness, they're complaining about their supper because all they want to eat is these. I said, you need to eat supper before you have one of these. So, yeah, I'm torturing them, but that's what moms are supposed to do, isn't it? So, the moms and wives, I guess. I only got a big one. My good one's in the dishwasher, so I'm going to try to get this one. Is that in the view? Yeah, it is. They're still really warm. So this is going to be ooey gooey for sure. But there's no shame in that. It just makes it all the more comfort eating. Oh my goodness. Do you guys see that? I have to look because I can't tell. I'll take a picture of it and I'll insert it right here. But I'm going to put it in this bowl. My husband wants to have some vanilla ice cream to go with it, which I can't blame him. But yeah, I'll bring you back in a second and we'll do a taste test. Alright, I got the ice cream out. I have to tell you, my husband was the one that requested this the most. I should have brought this out a few minutes just so it softens up a bit, but he's the one that's been hounding me in a lovingly manner to make cinnamon buns. He's not the only fan, but this is going to be his dish, and I'll see if I can convince him to do a taste test on camera. He might do it, but he won't be in the picture. My family is supportive of me doing this, to the most part, but they're just a little camera shy, which I completely understand. Like I mentioned in my other video, I'm only doing this, well, I'm doing it for fun, but I'm doing it to push my boundaries and test myself. Just a minute, Mace. Anyways, I'll bring it back when there's a taste test going on. So Miss Misha was the only one that agreed to do a taste test for me, so you tell me if it's good or not good, or what do you think?
I like it.
You like it? So is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down? A thumbs up. Well, that means a lot. Alright, well this is Tracy from Nova Scotia Living signing off. Thanks for joining me when I was making some cinnamon buns for my family. and give it a whirl yourself. Check out the link below from the recipe that I got it from. Tatiana's Everyday Food, I think is what it's called. And she looks like she really knows what she's doing. I'm just winging it, but I'm following the directions either way. So yeah, tune in tomorrow and we'll see what trouble we can get into. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful evening. Say bye, Mish.
Bye.
Oh. Say bye, Maze.
Bye.
Bye.